Not So Live from Asteroid G, stuck on an Arctic mission for the second time. I'm your host, Mike Finkelstein.
And your shape-shifting best friend over here, Mike the Ghoul. How you doing today, everyone?
Doing good. It's good. We're here now, past our Super Bowl episode, for an official start to our season, as we like to do. We got the sports ball out of the way via Tecmo Bowl. Now we can actually do our usual thing and talk horror movies and other crap that you and I care about and maybe other people show up for.
I mean, we're gonna talk, one of the greatest of all time. I think, right?
Yeah, we're gonna go back and talk about The Thing again, specifically because I saw a video of someone. I don't know how long ago the video was posted. You know how the YouTube algorithm is. Oh, you like this thing? We'll start showing you stuff about it. I've been watching Cinema Talk.
5 years old.
Yeah, exactly. So this could have been 5-year-old video. It could have been from last Tuesday. I don't know because I didn't pay attention. Right. But discussing The Thing prequel and what the hell happened with it. Which, it's not a great movie. It's not a bad movie. I think if it had been just called anything other than The Thing, it might have done better, because there were expectations. Like, the guy analyzed, and he's like, one, calling it The Thing, and not, like, The Thing prequel, or The Thing Nordic base, or something. Confused people. Yeah.
It's confusing.
You don't know if it's a remake, if it's a sequel, what it is. Switching from practical effects to CGI, because the test audiences said the practical effects looked too 1980s, which, yes, but the CGI looked terrible in its own right.
Yeah, the CGI was trying to be, 2050 and was not even close.
Now, that was a sure Jan moment, if ever there was one.
Yeah. There were some fun creature concepts by the CGI. The special effects, say what you want, but the practical effects done in the original were just, even just the way they look. You could say they looked old or whatever. They still look better than the CGI we got. They were some creative monsters and ideas with the CGI they did. There was some gross shit that they couldn't really do with the practical effects, but at the same time, it was just bad.
It was
bad. Yeah.
No, I agree. I understand what they were going for, and I'm not saying that CGI couldn't have worked.
Right.
But it's just the thing of the CGI of 2010 did not work.
No.
Especially not under a time crunch, when they didn't have a ton of budget for it.
And they spit it out at the end too. They had practical effects done that were
they just
good.
Copied over it. They were supposed to do practical effects and then use CGI enhancement to make the practical effects look better. And instead they were just like, no, copy paste over top of all of it. We don't care. No.
Yeah.
That was
bad.
It's bad.
Even for a prequel, there are interesting concepts in it. With the how to discover. You have to have a test.
Yep.
The blood test in the first one by McCready, and this one with the teeth. It's a little different.
It's a little different. You have fillings, so you obviously can't be a thing because the thing can't duplicate metal. Which sure, but at the same time, I'm just kind of like it feels like we're just redoing the same plot.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where you can kind of rehash the same ideas and give tribute, but this feels like almost step for step the same movie.
Yeah, no, it was. It really felt like that in a lot of ways, and not that I just never necessarily minded it, because it was well directed, and the actors were trying to act it really well, and you could tell
the problem.
Everyone felt like they were making a great movie. It's just the studio fucked it up in the end.
Yeah, the actors weren't the problem. The writing wasn't that bad, and the plot was it had moments, but it was fine, and the actors brought it. They cared.
Yeah.
But the studio interference, say what you want of it. They throwing their money around and blah blah blah. We got.
We didn't like what the test audience said. Well, did you watch the movie? Maybe just use your gut for once and say, yeah, this is good.
Yeah. Trust.
Yeah. So, what the biggest flaw of it is that because the movie failed, the production team, which actually really cared about their movie, didn't get to make a sequel they were planning, where Kate, the heroine from the prequel, was supposed to arrive on a oil rig and off the coast of Antarctica, which I'm not actually certain if they're allowed to drill that close, but somewhere in the South Pacific, whatever. Let's ignore that detail because it didn't happen anyway. We don't have to nitpick a plotline that didn't happen. But she was supposed to get to the oil rig and try and warn civilization that the alien was coming. Which, alright, fair, sure, that's cool. I don't mind that. But it got me thinking. We also had the Thing video game, which kind of picked up with a military group that came after, and they tried to deal with the Thing. And I'm like, so what other sequels could we do? Assuming that McCready and Childs were both not the Thing.
Right.
Then,
How you making it out of this one though?
Yeah, no, that's the thing. If you have either of them be the thing, then you ruin the surprise. If neither of them are the thing, then the aliens survived and their death was pointless. Like, I get the argument that people make that making a sequel to the thing ruins the ending of the thing.
Right.
But if you're gonna make a sequel anyway, what would you do?
I mean, it'd be really difficult, I think, to kind of pick up right where. I mean, the only way you could do it, I think, is if you pick up almost right where it leaves off. You know, you have to do something where they're right there, because they're not surviving very long, Childs and McCready in that scenario. So you have to pick up something. Maybe somehow, Blair's ranting and raving when he was breaking everything up, and Windows was in there. Maybe Windows left the communication button on, and someone picked up reception. He finally got through, and then a team shows up. Military flexing their muscles like the Space Marines from Aliens, and then the thing pops back up, starts picking them off one by one. McCready and Childs are trying to heal and work through the crap that they don't exactly like each other, and now they have to work together to figure out a way to get through the military that's being consumed by the thing, which would be interesting, I think. But unless you pick it up right there, how do you get them involved at all? Because they're dead.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you can do it. I think you have to leave McCready and Childs alone. I think you just have to let their ending be their ending. If you have a military group show up, or you could do. We don't really get many Arctic explorers anymore, but if they have like a supply mission of just some contractors that come in and they get attacked, and you could even if you filmed it a certain way, you could film it like they come in and they start investigating because everything seems weird, and then almost immediately you just cut to black. And then you pick up maybe a couple weeks later when they're supposed to be on their pickup back on the coast, and one of them, or the only one that survives, is the thing. And so then you have them on a boat shipping back towards wherever they're supposed to be going, and then they start almost like Dracula, basically, and the Legend of the Demeter. Yeah, Last Voyage of the Demeter is the movie, but whatever, the Demeter. Just starts picking them off one by one, and they have to they're trapped on the boat. So it's almost like being trapped at the Arctic station because you can't escape. And then you have to figure out, how do you figure out the thing? How do you survive? Don't do the same tests. Don't do the same plot line. But it's almost interesting if you think that someone at the end survives. They killed the thing. They're slowly pulling up to, I don't know, the coast of Brazil or wherever boats go. And then it's revealed that he's actually the thing afterwards in the end.
Yeah, that'd be kind of interesting.
Because that not only sets up a good ending without violating the ending of the first movie, while also, because you don't even answer the question of was it Childs or McCready who survived if you just cut to black before anything can happen. But it also sets up the idea that the thing actually escapes, and then you have a sequel where, oh no, now they're an actual civilization. What the fuck?
Yeah, it would be really cool to put, maybe someone finds Blair's notes or something and sees the rate of infection or whatever. And, you have a movie where it's almost World War Z, but slowly but surely everything starts infecting the world and the groups of survivors have to come together. It smells like a franchise almost, but I
was thinking very 28 weeks, 28 years later kind of thing. Yeah, where now you have colonies of people trying to survive, and then they're really scared about what happens if the thing comes towards them. It's a very different universe at that point if the thing takes over. And they don't even establish what can the thing duplicate. They
really don't.
No, animals and humans. Can it do grass? Can it do trees? Do you have to have the Happening from M. Night Shyamalan where the trees are trying to kill you now? I don't want to remake that with the thing. I don't. But
it was that was one of the worst plot reveals of all time. You're waiting for this force, this entity, and it's that.
It's M. Night Shyamalan. I watched his most recent one, Trap, and I was just disappointed. Yeah. And I went in knowing it's an M. Night Shyamalan, so I was going to be disappointed. And even with that low bar, I was disappointed.
And that's sad too, because I had high hopes for that movie too, and it just was it was another one of those just in the infinite line of it's fine.
Yeah, it was perfectly fine. And then up about the third act, he starts doing, okay, I'm going to do a twist, but I'm going to do another. Look, you didn't even expect it. I'm doing another twist on my twist. You can't even guess how many twists I'm going to do. Dude, can you just tell a normal movie?
No, Robot Chicken got it right 15 years ago. What a twist! What a twist! Everything's a twist.
Yeah, no.
Sometimes you just need to tell a coherent story, Shyamalan.
Rule number one: don't let M Night anywhere near the Thing.
No,
Saying that
please
right
no.
now. No,
He already destroyed the last Airbender for me. Do not do anything else to what I care about.
but also, like, there are interesting spots you could go with this. I mean, there are certain things that I think don't work. The Thing isn't going to have like a Thing home world, so you couldn't do like I think what they're
Right.
trying to do right now with the anime Predator, where they're going to have like a Predator home world kind of story.
Yeah,
I think that's what
yeah,
they're
the
setting
Outer
up.
Homeworld.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't do that with the Thing. The Thing is just a parasite. It consumes and then it moves on. So
Yeah.
you're never going to have a Thing home world movie. But there are certain things you could do that would work. Like Thing. I'm trying to think like what else you could do, like Asteroid Base, where they go and they set up, and then suddenly they discover the Thing. Like in any case you do it, you kind of want isolated areas.
I was
That's
gonna
what
say,
works
like,
best.
it feels like the recipe that works for this movie the
Mhm.
best is that feeling of isolation. You know, like you said, it starts in Antarctica. You know, 2 stations in Antarctica, and then you put one on a ship. You know, like very confined, very close quarters. You know, very like intimate between all the parties involved. Like you're very close with everybody. It adds a level of suspense.
I
You know,
think
to a movie.
Yeah, I think the only way that you can change up the formula of it and not just have it be people discover Thing, people start picking each other apart, trying to figure out who is the Thing, is you
Hmm.
have to put in almost like George Romero style like caste levels, like he tried to do for Land of the Dead, the poor
Mm,
and the rich, or the management controlling and the people working as like unions or whatever, which almost
right.
becomes like Wayland Yutani kind of alien bullshit, you know?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
starts feeling into that vein here. Like it's very clearly defined in its own genre, like you said. I think
Mm-hmm.
describing him as a parasite is like it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally what it is. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I've never actually given thought to like the origins of this creature. Where did it actually come from? Because it doesn't matter. You
No.
know, was it the one piloting the ship, or was it a prisoner on the ship? Who knows? Who cares?
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
it's a thing that's just it's the thing.
it's like when you talk about. I just watched recently the Quiet Place Day One, a
Hmm.
completely unnecessary prequel. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Because
more
like
monsters.
I was like, yeah, didn't we say all that we needed to say with A Quiet Place the first time? And
Yeah.
the sequel that didn't work anywhere near as well. We didn't need more. Self-contained story. Aliens come
Mhm.
down. Hate noise. Okay, I'm with you. There's plot holes abound that people have picked apart in that. Like, if the aliens have issues with noise, why don't you just make more noise, not less, so they get confused? They almost even
Mhm.
set it up in that movie. But the biggest issue that I had with the prequel, I don't feel like rehashing all of A Quiet Place, is that it tries to explain more about where the aliens came from and how they exist and how they work. And
Mhm.
the Thing works best, much like those aliens do. The more you explain it, the less interesting it is. And credit to the prequel, they didn't really explain it that much. They got a little towards that near the end where they found the big alien ship and the weird
Mhm.
matrix pixel thing. But
Yeah.
even then, it didn't really explain it very well. I think if you start doing the Thing homeworld or something like that, then it gets too explained and all the mystique of it is lost.
It was just the word I was gonna. You took it right out. The mystique is gone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're pulling back the curtain too much. Like there's we've seen a lot of, and we've talked about this many
Mm-hmm.
times. You know, there's franchises that die and then re-resurrect, and then that die again and come back 10 years later and then die again. This has never been. This isn't a franchise.
No.
You know, it'd be really. They sort of tried,
Twice.
and it wasn't. Yeah, and it wasn't that great. You know, but I think if you do an element like you were saying and not try to over explain too much what this creature is about and just kind of let it do its thing and run naturally and add that suspense and add that feeling of distrust between the parties involved, it's going to be a movie that you're going to want to watch as a horror fan.
Yep. Absolutely. And you make a valid point about franchises that should be franchises, which is, I think, even trying to touch this movie with a prequel was a bad idea. Audiences clearly stated that, even though they were confused about the people that showed up for it, didn't really care that much and didn't watch it a second time. And if the movie had been good, I'm not sure that would really matter. Like, how good is good enough to justify a prequel to a movie that doesn't need it at all?
A standalone movie, it was, it was looked upon at the time, the original, that it was a failure
It was.
in a lot of ways. It really gained the cult following and the appreciation it got later on, that it moved on, 20, 30, 40 years later. I don't feel like you get that same kind of nostalgia, and you will never get that from looking at what they tried to do in 2010.
Well, it's a John
it's a
Carpenter.
different world.
It's a John Carpenter movie, And,
Yeah.
like, you listen to him talk about stuff, he's never talked about what his plans would have been for a Thing sequel. He didn't have something in mind. Like, this is self-contained. The ending is the ending. Like, for Halloween, he had ideas about how to make a whole franchise of anthologies, and some of his other films he revisits, but he's never felt the need to even comment on what would I have done for a Thing sequel that I've seen online. He just, it's not his thing.
And that's got to tell you something, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like he had the exact source material. It was already there, from the book in like the 30s and the original movie from way back when. But he took something and took an idea and ran with it and didn't feel the need to come back to it, even though you saw the success that it gained later on and the traction it gained later on.
Yeah.
John Carpenter's got no problem, going back to, a franchise here and there and trying to expand upon it. He's done it many times, but he never went back to this. And I think there's got to be something to that, right?
Yeah. Oh, I agree. As much as we're making a podcast about how to make a sequel to The Thing, and we have some okay ideas, do I think they're going to be as good? No. No. Yeah, like, you can make Distance or whatever, like, The Thing comes and invades a starbase or something, and at least it's going to feel different. Like, miners on an asteroid are dealing with it, and management doesn't care. They just want their, whatever, unobtainium bullshit from John.
Yeah,
whatever. No. But, like... Oh my god, Avatar. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted, but unobtainium.
We can go down an Avatar lane. That's I thought
I don't need to go down the lane of it. No, I don't need to. Unobtainium and then whale juice, and somehow this planet has both these things that are stupid. Okay, the movies are pretty. They're fucking stupid, and you compare it to The Thing, which is intelligent as shit, and no one cared about at the time. Pisses me off.
Yeah, it's sad. There's really good writing and there's really good visuals, and they're not always interchangeable. And people don't appreciate the writing more than you got to do a little more thinking.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the problem.
I think of the ideas we suggested, the one I like best is that 28 years later, where the alien gets in, and then you're in civilization post-apocalyptic. But I think if you do that. Not saying Hollywood you should. No, they don't listen to my podcast anyway. Ours. They're not sitting there going, Mike and Mike had some really good ideas there. Although I did suggest years ago Predator Planet, and now they're making Predator Planet, so maybe no. Hollywood, get back to me, okay?
Yeah.
But no, realistically, Hollywood's not going to listen to this, but if they did, I think you do like 28 years later kind of thing, and you do it as like an anime Netflix series of like 8 to 10 episodes. In part so that you can avoid the 80s style practical versus CGI. You just elude that entirely and just do anime.
I kind of like that idea, the kind of to give it that scratch that itch of giving you something that's a little more modern, but you can still hit the effects that really feel raw and visceral.
Yeah, I watched the Terminator anime, and that got pretty gory in places. It was actually not bad.
Yeah, I got to catch back up on that. I watched an episode. I watched the first episode. It was pretty good.
We can talk about that one.
We'll talk about it. Definitely, yeah.
I can also talk with you about Dune Prophecy if you want, although I only watched the first episode and no. So... But no, I think if you're going to do it, you've got to push the bounds of what is. You can't just do another Arctic base. You can't just do an oil derrick that they're going to hang out on nearby. You can prequel little mini scenes in about how the alien got to the mainland, but you set most of it in the future, like 2030. Not really future anymore, but future. And you have civilization dealing with the aftermath of it in like little enclaves. And you do 8 episodes of that, and you don't even like have to end it. You don't have to say whether humanity wipes it out or not. Humanity's not going to wipe it out.
There's no way.
Follow the civilization for a little while, and then when the story peters out, you just kind of naturally let it end, and you just accept the fact that the alien probably wiped them out, and we're good.
Yeah, I mean, what is the end goal of this thing?
Right?
Like, is it just to consume? Does it have a purpose? We don't know.
Eat. Yeah, no, it's eat, convert as much as it can, probably, and then launch itself into space to find another planet.
Yeah, that's all it really is.
Yeah.
Instead of consuming every natural resource, which is a lot of what Hollywood does with these movies, it consumes us. We're a natural resource. Same thing.
I'm a delicious natural resource.
Tastes like chicken.
Fattened up good.
Oh yeah. Right off the holidays, man. That's perfect.
Gonna go have myself some nachos and really flavor this for that thing when it comes from.
Oh, good stuff, man.
So yeah, no, I think despite the fact that we're talking about doing The Thing sequel, I don't think it's necessary. I think it's a bad idea. I think you can come up with ideas that can justify themselves for a little while and play off the name, but should you? Yeah.
There's some things like it's just better left untouched. You know, we're gonna get another Friday the 13th at some point. We're gonna get another Freddy Krueger at some point, and we're gonna be fine with that. And we'll watch them; they'll be bad, and we'll love them. And it is. There are some things that are best left alone. They tried to redo this a little bit with Jurassic Park. Pick it up 20 plus years later and update it. And the first one was really good, even though it was almost the same movie again in a way, because Hollywood likes doing that. And then it was just all downhill from there. So, let the lesson of 2010 be a lesson that this does not need to be touched. But I mean, if you get a really good idea, I'd listen, but I don't need it.
Would I show up in the theaters or go to Netflix to watch it again?
Yeah.
Sure.
Probably,
I'd pick up a month subscription for Netflix to watch it and then cancel it again like I usually do. Netflix has made their subscriptions $25 for the 4K now. I'm like, that's hideous.
It's crazy.
Barely anything I want to watch. Like, most crap on Netflix sucks. I would watch another season of Terminator. I'd watch a Thing. So put the Thing on Netflix. You'll get my $25. But yeah.
I'm excited for the next live action One Piece to come out next year. And that was very, very good. As a fan of the anime and a fan of the franchise in general, that was some good work that Netflix put into that. I would watch that again.
You're not going to hook me on that, but that's fine.
Oh, no, I know I'm not. I'm just saying that as a fact. I'm just saying that as a fact for me. I was very impressed because, that was one that if you got that wrong, that was going to be bad. And they got that pretty right. It was good.
The closest I get to One Piece is watching the couple of dishes that get done by binging with Babish on, YouTube. Oh, look, ramen. Okay.
Watch a dish. Yeah.
Well, this has been Not So Live from Asteroid G. Now looking forward to nachos and ramen. I'm your host, Mike Finkelstein.
Yeah, I'm going to go assimilate myself some chili right now that I'm thinking about it. Mike the Ghoul is out of here, buddy.
We will see you all next time.